What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. It's going to be a pretty short one. I'm just here at a side job doing like welding up an all-wheel drive setup, and I don't remember the guy's name that sends these things. I think it's Adam's Built, but the thing is there's no instructions and there's nothing on YouTube, and I can't find anything other than a few bad pictures on the guy's page. So we're getting this done really quick. I'm helping him cut it out and install what needs to be installed for the diff carrier and stuff. So I'm going to just walk you through it really quick and show you where to cut and where to weld. Starting off, what I did last night is I centered this. For me, I just measured from inside dip there on the cuts, and just matched it up so each side is about 3.5 inches in. And then you have to do it on the bottom of the plate because this bolts up to the rear subframe across here, and then this has to go around. You also have to remove your gas tank because the diff itself mounts in front of the gas tank. So what I have to do now is I have to cut the subframe out and cut the trunk out to clear the diff housing. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to find the center point of the diff, and then all I'm going to do is use a marker and trace the area around. I know we have to cut the subframe itself here up to the trunk line, and then we have to cut this whole section out, just a square, just to clear the actual diff. So with the rear brace bolted up, it supports the diff pretty much on its own, but I have the jack here just to be safe. Now this piece up here, this flat plate, you can see I already welded on or tacked on the little triangles. Those triangles are just to hold the tube. So I just went one triangle thickness in, so that way I can weld on both sides, make sure it's strong, and then it wants it basically back to the edge here, and the tube is going to rest on this plate. And what I'm doing now is the tube he sends you is going to fit up here between these two frame rails, but he sends it to you a little bit long. So right now I'm cutting the thickness of the two little square tabs off on the plate, so probably like a 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch. And then we're gonna come in here, and once I have my fit good, I'm gonna clean up the stuff, the paint, get it to raw metal, and we'll tack on our little squares that he sends us, which are these things. We'll tack these on, and then we'll shove the pole up there, and we can get that tacked in place. But I'm not gonna weld the pole in place yet. I'm gonna get those up there, get those tacked on, get the pole where I need it to, and then I'm gonna tack the pole to the triangles, pull the top plate off, weld all that, so that way it's all, because once this is up, you don't have access to the top of this. So you gotta try and get as much of the welding done off the car as you can. So all I had to do was trim off a bit on the ends. So the frame rails do taper in a little bit, so you gotta, I don't know, it's probably like a 3-degree angle. So just trim accordingly, fill what you need to fill. But once you get it fit between the frame rails, go ahead and line it up on here and then just tack it in place. So now with this tacked in place, we can go ahead and give it a good solid weld on each side, because this is the top support. So make sure you get it on there nice and good. And then you can go and weld the plates onto the frame rails. So there's plate number 1. Here's the amount that we had cut out. And there's plate number 2. So we opted for taking the diff out, but we got these pieces all installed, and we could weld the top of this. I already got it all welded up, but we had access to the top through the big ass hole in the trunk, obviously. And got this all welded up. Wasn't too hard, a little tricky, just trying to find the angle for the tube, but it is all welded in. So now we can go ahead and bolt this diff back up, and then any further adjustment can probably be made with like a ratchet strap to try and line everything up if anything's out of place. But absolute worst comes to worst scenario. The main issue that anybody's probably going to have is going to be with these two little butterfly shaped tabs. But those are obviously pretty easy to cut off and put back on. It's on its own plate. So that's it. Let's show you, or let's get this diff up real quick, and I'll take some pictures and finish this thing up. Okay, got the diff all mounted up. Looks nice and solid in there. So any like I said, any other issues that may occur, I don't know how the drive shaft exactly is supposed to sit. We tried to center it down the tunnel as much as we could, but anything that isn't aligned, we could always try and trim and maybe pull, or just use a ratchet strap and pull. But I think the U-joints on the drive shaft should allow it to have the little bit of wiggle room it might not need. It's really hard to tell without having everything actually already in the car, but this thing's all bolted up. It's all ready to go. So there you guys have it. I'm covered in crap. I was just finishing up that all-wheel drive setup, helping the guy bolt the diff back up. So the guy goes by Adam Lane. That's the guy that made the all-wheel drive kit. I don't know exactly what chassis it fits, but hopefully this video gave you guys a little bit of insight onto how exactly mount it and the order to kind of go about it, because again, there was no instructions or anything, and I can only find a few pictures on his Instagram of even doing it. and it looked like they were like really old photos. So kind of hard to tell. And again, with the cutting, you basically just got to line it up yourself, and there's no real markers, like there's no X amount of inches from X point in which you can just cut. It's going to be different, especially if you're using a certain diff. The diff that we just use, I think, is from like a CRV or an HRV, because I believe the guy said he shipped the transmission from Poland. So again, discretion. So if you guys enjoyed the video, I know it's a little short one, I just wanted to throw this out there while I was doing it. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you consider subscribing. If you enjoy it, let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, guys, do what you love to do with the rest, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.